This episode of Film Riot's brought to you by B&H Photo and TuneUp. Your music collection's a mess. TuneUp fixes it auto-magically. Today on Film Riot, we finish our discussion on screenwriting with what to do once you finish writing your script.
In the beginning, Adam bites the apple. In 1903, the first narrative film is made. In 93, Spielberg says F you to evolution. And in 2009, Film Riot is released to the world.
Want to be a filmmaker? Well, so do I. Let's figure it out. We're going to be following Trying Films from pre to post-production as we make our latest short film, Tell. Along the way, we're going to be showing you how to accomplish great effects with little to no budget. And every now and again, we'll be jumping over to Full Sail University to get you advice from the pros. So grab some popcorn and get comfortable. This is Film Riot. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques to go into some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley. Now last week we showed you how to write a script and how to use one of the best programs for it, Final Draft. However, I do realize that a lot of you might not have the funds to invest in a professional screenwriting program like Final Draft. So try checking out a free program called Celtics, which you can find and download for free at Celtics.com. It's a great starter program to get your feet wet. Now if you want to move on to more professional waters, you're going to want to use Final Draft or Movie Magic, but this is a great program in the meantime. So jump over to Celtics.com, download for free, and get writing. But now on to the topic of today. Once I finish a script, the first thing I do is to get it to eyes other than mine. Now I don't just throw it into anybody's hands, but a select few that I trust and have proven good opinions. Another thing I keep in mind with my choice of readers is their taste. If somebody doesn't like scary movies, I'm not going to give them a horror script to read. Now the hardest part about this process is not getting offended when they give you their honest criticism.
What? Dude, what are you doing?
I'm sleepwalking.
So when your readers give you their honest opinion, don't get defensive over your script. Just take their input to help you refine your script into something great. After you've completed your rewrites from the input your friends gave you and you have what you think is your final version, you might want to check out a script coverage service like the one from Final Draft, Script Expert. Now I'm going to get into what script coverage is in a minute, but before I do, let's jump back over to Full Sail University to hear the rest of the interview with their screenwriting instructor.
Thanks so much for meeting with us, Dustin.
My pleasure.
Before we go through these questions, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Full Sail.
Okay, well, I'm the course director for storytelling, which is essentially our screenwriting class here at Full Sail. Oh, you want me to go on?
Yeah, if you want.
Tell me more.
Corey Morrison from Facebook would like to know, how do you protect your screenplay?
Okay, the first way to protect your script would be to register it with the WGA, the Writers Guild of America. And if you head to their website, wga.org, you'll be able to go through the instruction set for registering that script. Once it's registered, they'll create a date and time stamp, essentially, of when this work was in their hands. And now that date and time stamp can be useful in terms of, we're saying that this story as it exists on paper in this form was written at this time by this particular author. And so having that is typically enough to say that, you know, I'm putting it out here, this is mine, this is the date that I created it and shared it with somebody else, and there's a third party keeping track of that. And what's great about the WGA is that they offer this service to non-members. The hope is that once you do sell your script, then you'll want to become a member of their guild. But it's the only guild in the film and television community that allows the service to non-members. So this is why writers have a little bit of a leg up over other crew members, because this guild is willing to help you out.
Todd Hamilton from Facebook would like to know, once you're finished with your screenplay, then what?
Todd, the very first thing after finishing is registering the script, getting it into the hands of an agent. If you have an agent already, then you do not want to sit by the phone waiting for that agent to call and say, hey, guess what, we have an interview with Warner Brothers on this project. You want to immediately get into the next project. A lot of beginning writers think that I've got this one story, this one baby, and that will carry me. You have to have thousands of ideas and be ready to constantly generate material, because a lot of times a really good script won't quite be good enough to get a sale just because of maybe the timing of that story, or there are certain aspects that are not quite right, but wow, we see potential here. We see that this writer has some talent.
Now, I know that a lot of people are interested in ways to get their screenplay noticed. Are there festivals or competitions that you would recommend for doing this?
There's one main festival for the screenwriter, and really it's not a festival, it's the Nichols Fellowship. That is a very prestigious screenwriting competition in a sense, and a lot of great and recent screenwriters have come right out of that competition with a win and gone on to do some very big projects here in the industry.
Now, I know you mentioned agents. Is there any other way to get attention or money for your screenplay?
In theory, there are two ways that you can present your scripts and try to get them into the right hands. And one way would be to make a direct submission yourself. You're trying to contact the head of development person at production companies large and small, and you're trying to pitch them the story. And if there's interest there, then maybe they'll want to read the script. The problem with that approach, that's in theory. The reality, though, is typically what will happen when you take that approach is that people will say to you, well, you know, do you have an agent? We want this to be submitted through an agent. Why do you need an agent? If there is an agent, if there's a middleman essentially that is ready to help you and wants to represent you and has signed on board with you, what that means then is that somebody has already read the story and said, you know what, this is worth my time and attention. I think I can market this story and I can market this screenwriter. And so when a script is submitted from an agent, automatically that tells that production company, this is more worth my time than somebody on the outside trying to break in. Again, now you're in this huge pile of competition. Can you read my script? Can you read my script? And the funny thing about human beings is that for good or bad, we are lazy bastards. We hate to read, even if it's our profession. It's just the thought of not another story that I have to start, not another script that I have to open up, not another docket that I have to read, right, as a lawyer. No matter what we're doing, just to start something that is a lengthy process and a process where most people get it wrong, meaning that they fail to garner our attention and keep our attention for a length of time, there's always this stigma to want to read something. And I think a lot of new screenwriters, they don't realize that. They don't realize that it's such a negative connotation to read a script. It could be the best script that's ever been put down on paper, but nobody will ever know because it hasn't been presented in a way that makes somebody say, wow, I had to open that up, right? So this is why you need a really good, strong sentence or two that shares the essence, the flavor of your story, that gets somebody to say, wow, now that's an interesting idea. Where's the script? Let me open it up, right? Let me see. You know, and then when you've got that interest there, if you've got something on every single page for that reader to get sucked into, right, and hooked on, you've got then the potential for them to, at that point, put aside all of their troubles for the day, all of the meetings that they have to go to, and say, hey, you know, I just got to finish the story because it's that good. Hold all my calls. I've got to read the script. I've got to get to the final page here. Those are the scripts that will get sold in a heartbeat. But the vast majority of what we read, unfortunately, is not ready yet. The quality is not there. The structure is such that maybe starts off in an interesting way, but then becomes characters sitting around talking rather than something that's interesting or fresh or new. And so most scripts that are on any filmmaker's desk in this industry are just not quite ready yet and not worth our time or attention. And so you've got to get through that stigma, and you've got to show them with confidence and with a good strong log line or stranger tractor why this is something that they want to prioritize right away.
Finally, from Twitter, we have Joe Gibson that would like to know if there are any podcasts or websites or books that you would recommend.
Sure. There is a series of books from the late Blake Snyder. That's called Save the Cat. And he had a very interesting approach to how he shared and conveyed the basic elements of storytelling. And really what he did is he took from a lot of great screenwriting masters of his time as he was growing up, and said, how can I just sort of rehash these same stories and anecdotes in a more modern day vernacular? And that's really the secret to success with his book, Save the Cat. So you can probably find that at Barnes & Nobles or on Amazon. It's a very easy book to get a hold of, a series to get a hold of. And Richard Walter is also, I'm a big fan of Richard Walter. He was my screenwriting guru at UCLA. He has just a very simplistic approach to a very difficult task. And whatever we can do to make such a difficult thing easier, we got to take that route. And when you grab his books on the subject of screenwriting, it's just very fresh, very entertaining, and very inspiring as well. So The Whole Picture is a book by Richard Walter, and then he also has an introductory book on sort of the basics of screenwriting and the business side of things as well. Some interesting tidbits in there on how to connect with agents and get their attention.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us, Dustin. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And now a word from our sponsor, Passion Obsession.
I'm extremely excited to have today's episode sponsored by my go-to source for all my videography and filmmaking gear. That's B&H Photo, Video, and Pro Audio, their professional source. B&H has been serving their millions of satisfied customers since before most of us were even born, which means they have a really good handle on what you need, so you won't have to go searching a ton of different sites just to find what you're looking for. Their intuitive website and enormous store are like Disneyland for the creative enthusiast. They house over 235,000 items in video, photo, and pro audio, which sounds a little bit like heaven. They also carry an assortment of computer equipment and accessories, as well as top-of-the-line home entertainment gear, so you can watch your films in the same high quality that you make them. So as most of you guys already know, I put together a gear list a few weeks back that you can find at revision3.com/deals_electronics. Now I recently made some additions, so go check that out and see the additions that I edified. Now I custom built all these packages to fit each one of you. There's 3 for filmmaker and 3 for DSLR filmmaker, each one catering to a different budget and expertise. The recent update I just made includes a few especially sweet little babies dying for you to adopt them into your home. I'll also be adding some more over the next few weeks, so make sure you keep checking back at revision3.com's deals page. Once again, that's revision3.com/deals_electronics. Logo. So I just got my script, Tell, back from Final Draft Script Expert coverage service, and I was happy to find out that they gave it really good ratings. So as far as Tell's concerned, everything is moving forward, and I'm ready to step into the next portion of pre-production, including casting. Now for those of you wondering what script coverage is something that typically you would not see. For instance, if you were to have a script sent into a production company, a producer or decision maker of any kind would not be the first one to read it. Instead, they have someone employed called a reader to read your script and submit a report called coverage. Now the coverage would have an overall grade of either pass, consider, or recommend, all of which are pretty self-explanatory. But the coverage would go on from there to break down your story, characters, and dialogue into simple terms with an overall evaluation at the end. Now the sad part about this process is that even though it would help you refine your story and grow as a writer, typically you would never be able to see this coverage. It's for the production company only. And this is where coverage service like Script Expert comes in. You can send your script to them, have it evaluated just like it would be at the studio, but then have it sent back to you. The advantages of this are huge. You can get professional advice on your story, including where the weak points are, to help you improve upon them. Plus, having a professional read your script and then write a synopsis of its plot is a great way to make sure you hit on all your points just the way you want it to. To try out Script Expert, check out the link below. Now before we go into our last sponsor, as you may or may not know, Film Riot is coming to its 1-year anniversary, and for that we wanted to do something special to involve you, since you guys are the reason we had such a great year. Give yourself a hand! So here's the idea. Make a video 20 seconds long, and it can be anything, a sketch using one of our effects, or just you talking to your webcam just to say hello. As long as it's within 20 seconds and relevant, we'll use it. After you're done with your video, upload it to YouTube, then follow me at Twitter at twitter.com/Ryan_Conley. Tweet me the link with the hashtag FR1year. Then we're going to take all your videos and use them in our 1-year anniversary show. So follow me on Twitter and get cracking, because we're going to need your video by May 20th. TuneUp is the #1 selling plugin for iTunes and Windows Media Player that offers must-have digital music management and discovery features for any music fan. In offering a very easy-to-use interface, TuneUp integrates with both iTunes and Windows Media Player. Utilizing waveform recognition, TuneUp is able to identify and provide information for tracks in your music library that have inaccurate or completely absent tags associated with them. TuneUp also fills in missing album artwork, making cover flow useful again. In addition to providing a better way for users to organize their music libraries, TuneUp also provides a wealth of music discovery features. At launch, TuneUp will automatically provide you with a chronological list of concerts based on the artists in your musical collection and your location. TuneUp will also display music videos, artist bios, merch, and recommendations, all based on what you're listening to. To find out more about TuneUp, visit www.tuneupmedia.com. And that's it. A big, huge thank you to Dustin Lee, Full Sail University, and of course Janelle. To see Dustin's full interview, which is 30 minutes long, jump over to our Film Riot YouTube page. And you can send me any questions you have to filmriot@revision3.com. Of course, don't forget to follow me at twitter.com/Ryan_Conley to stay up to date with Tell, and to send me the links to your 1-year anniversary videos, and Facebook. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Pimps and pipettes. Well,
This was, horrible. No, horrible wasn't the word. That was the mass suicide of coherent thought.
well, I didn't want
I mean,
to.
that was freaking awful.
I appreciate your honesty. Is there a way that I can improve it?
You could shred it, burn the pieces, and bury the ashes so that no one will ever find it and go through the inhumane act of reading its contents. That's an improvement.
I see.